So the next thing we're going to do is to factor, same thing, trinomials. However, this time what the change is going to be a does not equal 1. So here's an example. Okay, and so what we have here is 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. Now there are different ways of doing this. First of all, what you want to do is understand that when you open two brackets like this to get your two binomials, this here is going to be whatever we put in here. And then the 5 here, how to get the 5, is going to be whatever we put here. In this case, there aren't that many choices. In order to get 2x squared, your only choice is going to be 2x and x. To get positive 5, you can either put your 5 here and your 1 there, or you can put your, you can switch it and put your 1 here and your 5 there. Now because it's all addition, we're going to just put in the pluses. And then what you have to do is decide which one to do. This is called trial and error. And sometimes it's quick and other times it isn't. I'm going to show you a way that, that you don't have to use trial and error. But let's just look at this. If I look at this and I say 2x times x is 2x squared, so that's great. Then I've got 2x times 1. So I've got here x squared, 2x squared plus 1x. And then here I've got plus 5x and then plus 5. And so that gives me 2x squared plus 6x plus 5. That doesn't work. Let's try this one. We've got now here, we've got 2x squared, and then that's going to give me plus 10x. And then here we've got plus 1x, and then plus 5. No, I can't see that. I'm sorry about that. So in this case, we had 6x in the middle. And in this one, 2x squared plus 11x plus 5, we have 11x. So this would be the correct answer right here. And this we have done by using trial and error. Now you don't have to use trial and error because we can use a different method of doing this. And so this method is called decomposition, and I will show you how to do that. So we're going to use the same trinomial, and what I'm going to show you now is decomposition. Okay. And decomposition, what you do is you multiply the 2 by the 5. So 1 multiply A times C. 2, find the factors for A for the product, find the factors for the product of AC and the sum of B. Okay? So in other words, what we're doing, we're multiplying 2 by 5 here and we get 10. And by getting 10, we want to find now what gives us 11 when we've got 10. So we can go through the list of factors 1 and 10, and right away we know this is going to work. So what you do then is you decompose this, you break it down. So this 11x, I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to put 2x squared, and instead of putting 11x, I'm going to replace it by 1x and 10x. So plus 1x plus 10x plus 5. And then what I'm going to do is grouping. Remember, we just did grouping. So what we want to do now is group. And so I'm going to group these two together and these two together. And so by doing that, I'm going to take out the common factor. In this case, the only thing in common to both is the x. And so that leaves me with 2x plus 1. In this case, what's common to both is 5. And so what's left over? 2x plus 1. Because I'm dividing 10x by 5, I get 2x. 5 by 5, I get 1. And in the end, I can see that these two are the same, and therefore I can put 2x plus 1 in one bracket, and then what's left over? X plus 5. And I can check this by foiling it out, and I will get this answer. And this is what I did get originally when I did trial and error. But in this way, we can break it down and find the answer quicker. Because sometimes these two will have several factors, and trial and error will be much more difficult. So we're going to try and do another one. So let's try to figure out how to do this. One more example. Okay, so let's try this one. Five n squared plus 19n plus 12. So this one doesn't have an a value of 1. It's got a 5. And so we could try trial and error, but let's try decomposition. So the first thing we do is multiply these two, and that gives me 60. So I want to know what will give me 60 when I multiply and 19 when I add. So we can go through the list. So 1 and 60. Okay, that's not going to give me 19. 2 and 30. That's not going to give me 19. 3 and 20. That's not going to give me 19. 4 and 15. 4 and 15. 4 and 15 work. So let's circle this here. And let's replace now this 19n by 4n plus 15n. It's the same thing because it's still 19. And then I can just add this part and this part. And now I can do what I did before and make some couples. Couple it out or group it, right? Remember the plus sign has to remain there. And then what's my common factor here? The only thing in common is the n. And so then we've got 5n plus 4. The common thing here, well, both are divisible by 3. So we'll put 3 out, and that'll give me 5n plus 4. Doing this right away, I know that I'm correct because these two are the same. And so then what we have is 5n plus 4, and then here we have n plus 3. And there you have it. We have figured out the factors that give us this trinomial. And if I want to check, just FOIL it out. That's 5n squared plus 15n plus 4n plus 12, and there you have it, 5n squared plus 19n plus 12. And we have done a great job doing this. Okay, what we can do is let's try one where we've got a negative sign in there, and we can see what we've got, what we need to do. So here's one that we can do. Let's try 2n squared plus 3n minus 9. So again, what we want is to find out what are the factors, first of all, of what? Of the a times the c value. So that is negative 18. So I can go through the list, 1 and negative 18. That's not going to give me 3. Negative 1 and positive 18. That's not going to give me 3. 2 and negative 9 will not add up to 3. Negative 2, positive 9 will not add up to 3. 3 and negative 6. 3 and negative 6 gives me negative 3. Well, we're getting there. What about negative 3 and positive 6? Yes, here we go. So we're going to replace this 3n by negative 3 plus 6n. And you can see that I haven't changed anything because it's still, the value is the same. And so now I've got 2n squared and minus 9. And then again, I'm going to make my groups. So let's group them. Plus, and then this. And so if I take out an n, I have 2n minus